After very successful outings in Lagos and London, where activities for the final rite of passage for the late Alex Ekwueme had earlier taken place, Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, played host to an unprecedented assemblage of people from different spheres of life who converged on the International Conference Center Abuja on Sunday, the 28th of January 2018, where a service of songs and night of tributes was organized by the federal government. In attendance to pay their last respects to late Vice President Alex Ekwueme GCON were Vice President Yemi Oshibajo GCON, Senate President Bukola Saraki, Deputy Senate President Ike Kwerimadu and wife, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation Mr. Boss Mustafa, former Vice Presidents Alhaji Muhammad Namadi Sambo and Atiku Abubakar, Nigeria's former Chief of General Staff, retired Commodore Ebitu Ukiwe, former Senate Deputy President Alhaji Ibrahim Mantu, serving and past senators and members of Nigeria's House of Reps, serving and past ministers, as well as serving governors and deputy governors. These include Chief John Nwodo, Nigeria's former Minister of Information and President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Chief Audu Ogbe, Minister of Agriculture, Chief Dr. Okwesilieze Nwodo, Chief Donald Etiabet, Senator Dr. Chris Ngige, Minister of Labor and Employment, former President Shehu Shagari, under who Dr. Alex Ekwueme served as Vice President, was represented by his son, Honorable Aminu Shagari, Chief Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, Chief Jim Nwobodo were also present to honor late Dr. Alex Ekwueme. The younger brother of Dr. Alex Ekwueme, Igwe Professor Laz Ekwueme of Oko Kingdom, wives of Dr. Alex Ekwueme and the children and grandchildren were also in attendance. The program started in earnest with a music presentation, followed by the first Bible reading, which was taken by Barrister Mrs. Chidi Onyemelukwe née Ekwueme, the first child of Dr. Alex Ekwueme, who was the running mate to the PDP candidate in the last governorship election in Anambra State.
1 Corinthians chapter 15, starting to read from verse 40. There are also celestial bodies and terrestrial bodies, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. There's one glory of the sun, another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars. For one star differs from another star in glory. So also is the resurrection of the dead. The body is sown in corruption, it is raised in corruption. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. And so it is written, the first man Adam became a living being. The last Adam became a life-giving spirit. Then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is your sting? O Hades, where is your victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. But thanks be to God, who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. This is the word of God.
A documentary which featured tributes to Dr. Alex Ekwueme was aired. It featured the testimony of people like Chief Emeka Anyoko, former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Professor Patu Tome, Alhaji Isiaku Ibrahim, and architect Majako Dumi. They all testified to the fact that the loss of Dr. Alex Ekwueme at this period is such a painful one, but that the most appropriate tribute we have to pay to his memory is to see that we put into practice all the worthy legacies he lived by.
Dr. Alex Ekwueme, who conceived and introduced the idea of 6 geopolitical zones in this country. It was he who led the group of 34 that effectively challenged the military dictator General Abacha And it was that group, 34, that paved the way to the formation of the PDP.
But because he had this very strong constitutional mind, bear in mind that he's the quintessential Renaissance man, architect, lawyer, sociologist. He had this breadth of perception for issues that he brought to bear on Nigeria's problem.
Always prepared for meetings. I've never seen anybody like him. Before he goes to a meeting, he wants to see the files, the background to everything, and then he sits down, and everything else is already in his head. He doesn't have to be opening books.
I felt that Nigeria, we have lost a great person, a patriotic nationalist who loved his country, brilliant, humble, with a high degree of sense of humility. Alex was among the few Nigerians who gave me inspiration to have confidence that we are going to have a beautiful country.
Live tributes were also paid to Dr. Alex Ekwueme's memory by Professor Jerry Ghana, who worked closely with him during the formation of the G34 group that fought for the restoration of democracy in Nigeria.
Your Excellencies, Dr. Ekwueme's huge capacity for imaginative thought, innovative creativity, and especially his integrity recommended him very highly to Alhaji Shehu Shagari in 1979 to be nominated as running mate and went on to win to become the first elected civilian Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And as Vice President of the Federal Republic, he was a fountain of ideas. He was a great designer of so many programs and the powerhouse for the achievements of the programs of that administration. So much was really directed by him because he was a very loyal, very humble, very trustworthy, very dedicated, very efficient Vice President.
Professor Uzodin Mawala, who was another close associate of Dr. Alex Ekwueme, paid glowing tribute to his sense of judgment, multidisciplinary attributes, and indeed his selfless contribution to the growth of Nigeria and his community in Oko, Anambra State.
We are really celebrating a man who has helped to lay the foundation for this country. In this time, we're thinking of the 6 geopolitical zones. But today, I think the problem has become very obvious that we've neglected something in the beauty of Nigeria. That is that the true components of Nigeria are the ethnic nationalities, not the structures we call geopolitical zones or the north or south as well. These are the things that is missing. We must return power, autonomy to these national, ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. Just like in the Europe, you have all the major European powers are ethnic nationalities. We must come back to that in Nigeria. And then after that, we will come back again together to create some kind of loose federation. Because we're neighbors, we're not running away from each other. Thank you very much.
In his tribute, Chief John Nwodo, President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, who also served in the Shagari cabinet at the same time with Dr. Alex Ekwueme, reminisced on their time in government. He paid special tribute to Dr. Alex Ekwueme's uncommon intelligence.
On a night like this, what is important is to crystallize the distinctive achievements and characteristics of Dr. Alex Ekwueme, and in the process, hope that those of us who are living will derive examples from it and create a better society. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the things that are being said about Dr. Alex Ekwueme are repetitive. But for me, I want to compartmentalize them into 5 subheadings. One is his intellectual versatility and preparedness to face the world. Ekwueme was multidisciplinary. He was distinctive in every academic pursuit that he undertook. And it was not the period of sorting for exams. He distinguished himself creditably in the exams, but acted his knowledge.
The House of Judah performed a soul-lifting tune. This was followed by a recording which featured tributes to Dr. Alex Ekwueme by his younger brother, Igwe, Professor Laz Ekwueme, and Professor Obum Ekwueme, his wife, Dame Beatrice, as well as his children and grandchildren.
He had a unique character, paradoxically combining two unlikely elements in his character. Very sincere, honest humility, and very astute self-confidence.
When I look back at the things he did and the times he did them and the ideas he threw up into the public domain, I think the country has lost a visionary. And I do hope that there will be another one after him for the sake of this country.
7 men in one. What an answer. And he was quite strong. He did things that people of his age were not doing.
Grandpa was a very great man. I really loved him.
I love him. And nothing can ever change that.
Thank you, Grandpa, for always being a great person and a humble man. And I know as I continue to live my life, you'll always be in my heart.
I was always happy and glad to see him because he was a mentor and leader of the nation. I hope one day I can be like him.
He's a man of style. He does everything with panache. You know, he made sure he gave us 3 weeks, you know. When he was on the sick bed, and he had people from all over the world praying for him, fasting, you know, we had prayer. I mean, that's my dad. So he went in style, and definitely he made peace with his God. He's in the right place. We cannot but thank God for that.
From Dr. Alex Ekweme's community, Oko, in the Agwata local government area of Anambra State, came a representative, Chief Adachuku Ogwike, who lavished a lot of praises on Dr. Alex Ekwueme for his enormous contributions to making Oko a modern city, where, through his help, modern schools sprang up and hundreds of indigents of the town were sent to university at home and abroad by Dr. Alex Ekwueme.
Have made others. Therefore, he raised an army of intellectual giants such that Oko today has become a hub of diverse human resources. Ladies and gentlemen, to say that we are very proud of Ide is obviously an understatement. We celebrate him with his accomplishments within and around us. It is difficult to refer to him in the past. Mr. Vice President, if every Nigerian with half of Ide's resources could emulate him, the federal, state, and local governments in Nigeria will have nothing to worry about. As a community, we want to recommend Ide's prototype to every Nigerian politician and public servant to serve Nigeria selflessly and honestly, believing in one Nigeria. We also humbly appeal to Mr. President, as represented by the Vice President today, that in view of his exemplary conduct
and contributions to Nigerian democracy, Chief Dr. Alex Ekwueme, GCON, should be appropriately immortalized by the federal government of Nigeria.
At this point, members of the Ekwueme family were prayed for by Bishop David Abere. All the children of Dr. Alex Ekwueme and their spouses mounted the stage, and one of them spoke about the family life of their father as a very loving and caring person whom they will miss greatly.
Everything that has been spoken about her dad, everything that he was on the outside, he was on the inside. My siblings can attest to that. And as Ms. Dayo has just said, there's no arrogance here. You have no reason to be arrogant because he wouldn't let you. You can't go about and throw yourself around and think, okay, because I'm Alex Ekweme's child, I'll get away with it. When you come back home, you know what is waiting for you. You're going to be embarrassed. You can't bring that to him. That was just who he was. So many people have spoken about him as a politician, as vice president, philanthropist and all that. But I'm here to talk about him as the dad, the loving dad and grandfather that he was. For what he lived for everything that he represented, let us just try as much as we can to imbibe those qualities. It just takes one person in this room to make a difference. So do whatever it is that you feel that is right in your heart. And as the day has done, let us live up to his legacies. Thank you.
Former President Shehu Usman Shagari gave his testimony through his son, a serving member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Aminu Shehu Shagari, who also praised the sterling leadership qualities of Dr. Alex Ekwueme, who he said was the best choice, and that posterity will judge his selfless contribution to the growth of democracy in Nigeria kindly.
Let me thank the Ekwueme family for the gift of their illustrious son to Nigeria all these years, to serve in various capacities, to offer selfless service and invaluable contributions to the growth and development of Nigeria, especially serving with me as the first elected Vice President of Nigeria. Although all through his unblemished years of service, Dr. Alex Ekwueme represented you well, not bringing the family name to disrepute. A good name is better than riches. Please keep the flag flying. To all his friends and associates, I say take heart. Let us take solace in the fact that he lived a good life and finished well. Let us thank God for all he was able to accomplish and for the long life he enjoyed. Dr. Alex Ekwueme has finished his own race and has gone to rest. It is left for those of us still alive to emulate the virtues he exemplified, especially serving humanity in the fear of God. May the Lord bless his memory and may his gentle soul rest in perfect peace.
The Minister of Labor and Employment, Senator Dr. Chris Ngige, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, the Senate President, Senator Bukola Saraki, with the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, GCON, taking the rear, also paid glowing tribute to Dr. Alex Ekwueme.
Dr. Alex Ekwueme was my political master. I did my apprenticeship in partisan politics under him. How did it happen? We started first from Aki Kenya, where I was president. It's an Igbo think tank group in Lagos. I was the chairman president for 7 years. So we related with Dr. Ekwueme. And for the 1994 Constitutional Conference, if you read the biography here, he didn't go to contest election to come to that conference. We came down from Lagos and we delivered him, so to say, free and fair delegate election, because we know that this man has all it takes to lead the Igbo delegation to that conference, and he didn't disappoint. The 1994-95 Constitutional Conference, if you go and read that document, which you're a Abacha, yes, some people say he didn't do well, he didn't do this, he didn't that, but there's some areas that Abacha did well. For some of us, there are a lot of good things in that constitution. And Ekwueme, Ide Nigeria,
was one of the architects of that particular constitution.
Dr. Alex's life is a lesson to all of mankind. We shall definitely miss Dr. Alex Ekwueme GCOE, but we are glad that his legacy lives on. We all have a duty to carry on from where he has brought out and even do better as Nigerians. I join all Nigerians to commiserate with his immediate family, the good people of Anambra State, and I pray that the gentle soul of the departed shall continue to rest in perfect peace.
What I think is we should all remember and learn from, I think, was his courage. The ability to believe in something and drive for it. His fight in bringing the democracy in the G34 is one contribution that we should all will never forget. As we sit here today, as we remember him, one thing is that he sang as Nigeria first. He didn't see himself by his language, religion, tribe. Distinguished guests who are here, if there's one thing we're going to take out from the life of Chief Alex Ekwueme, is to first see ourselves as Nigerians if we want this country to unite and go forward. This is the only tribute I think we should all make. If we continue in that direction, the future is great for this country. Until we do that, we will make this many speeches and will not upgrade the highest tribute to this great man. On behalf of the National Assembly, my family, and all those who had the opportunity to encounter with him, his gentle soul rests in perfect peace. And for his family, today, as well says, is a day of great celebration. And I pray and hope that sitting among you are also leaders of tomorrow that will carry out the great name of this family.
Dr. Alex Ekwueme, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, first elected civilian president of Nigeria, is perhaps one of the most remarkable persons to have served our nation. Despite being probably one of the most thoroughly educated persons anywhere in the world, with degrees in disciplines as distinct as architecture, philosophy, sociology, and law, he possessed the profound humility that comes from understanding how much more there was to learn. And he demonstrated it by his evident willingness to listen and to learn at all times. As Vice President, he set an excellent example of loyalty, discipline, team spirit, and fidelity to the nation. He was fearless. Of course, Alex Ekwueme, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, the Ide of Oko, never had to blow his own trumpet and will never have to. His service to country and people is the assurance that he would have many trumpeters amongst the high and the low. Our nation will miss his calm dignity and wise words, even in the most turbulent circumstances. But we thank God for giving us, for 85 years, such an exemplar of decency, kindness, and integrity. God bless his memory, and God bless his family.
On Tuesday, the 30th of January 2018, there will be a service of songs at the Cathedral Church of the Good Shepherd, Enugu, at 4 p.m. On Wednesday, the 31st of January 2018, there will be a Southeast Zone Commendation Ceremony at the Okpara Square. On Thursday, the 1st of February 2018, there will be a service of songs at Oko at 4 p.m. Alex Ekwueme will be interned at Oko, his hometown in Anambra State, on Friday, the 2nd of February 2018. From Beacon Communications, it's a hearty farewell to a statesman with a difference, the architect of modern Nigeria, Dr. Alex Ekwueme.